I am what I am, and what I am is not illusion. I do what I can to. Oh, welcome, everybody! How are you? We're so glad to have you here for Ops Online. Here we are with our social distancing Shakespeare. I'm Jennifer Lanier. I am the other AD for, artistic director for Original Practice Shakespeare Festival. And right now, I'd like to ask all of you to please join us in acknowledging the land that we occupy and from which we work, recognizing that we have benefited from this stolen land that was cultivated with stolen labor. In Oregon and Southwest Washington, these were historical lands for at least 10 tribes who made their homes in traditional villages along the Columbia River and throughout both of our states. Many tribes also traveled and traded throughout Oregon and Washington and the plentiful resources of the area. Today, we also have people who will be working with us from the lands of Alaskan Natives and from the lands of the many indigenous peoples of Nevada. So as we move forward, we ask you to take that moment and recognize those original peoples and recognize those upon whose backs our present homes were built. Okay, here we are. Normally, we perform outside in the parks all over Portland, Oregon. But, some of our shows are going to be online this season because we want to keep on connecting with you all. Yeah, talk about social distancing. Today's show is very exciting. We have been performing what we have been calling our Henriad. On Friday, we performed Henry IV Part 1. On Saturday, Henry IV Part 2. And today, we will be performing Henry V. We are very excited about continuing actors throughout these plays, casting people in the same roles throughout the 3 shows, which is a little bit different for us here at Ops. Now, what does make Ops Ops? Well, one thing, we don't rehearse, of course, just like in Shakespeare's time. They didn't rehearse, so we don't. We also... they didn't have the money or the time to handwrite all these scripts and everything. So we, complete scripts. That's what I'm trying to say, complete scripts. So, of course, we use scrolls, just like they did in Shakespeare's time, except ours are printed out on computer paper. And they're attached with these fabulous dowels here. And that only has our lines and a couple of words before that, so we know where to come in. It makes for very exciting shows, my friends. Now, obviously, we have to practice our skills. We all do memorization and voice work. We do text analysis. But like a sports team, you can't exactly practice the game. So we don't practice the show, as it were. Now, we encourage you all out there to get involved in what we're doing. The comment area is where you can be the most involved. And when we're in the parks, we get people to boo and cheer and, for lovers and stuff. But here, we want you to do that in the comment section. So feel free to boo and cheer and something heroic or something dastardly, anything you want to do in the comment section. We have people who are going to be keeping up with you. Isaac is going to be keeping up with your comments on Facebook today. And of course, Davis will be keeping up with your YouTube comments, so you feel free to interact with them. And you never know, a couple of actors might pop in there too. Now, all of our shows are admission free, online and in the parks, because it is important to us that Shakespeare is absolutely accessible to everyone. We want to thank the extraordinary sponsors who make it possible for us to do our shows. Our season sponsor, Ronnie LaCroute. We have other major sponsors in the Starseed Foundation, the Oregon Community Foundation, the Regional Arts and Cultural Council, also known as RAC, the James F. and Marion L. Miller Foundation, the Betty Kinsman Foundation, several anonymous donors, and, of course, the many audience members who put ducats in the buckets every single show. We are so grateful grateful to you. You can see a full list of our sponsors in the program that was located in the posts that we make right before the show. So check them out. We're very, very grateful for the people who make everything happening. Now, usually what we do in the parks is we pass our infamous green buckets around. But today, if you're so moved, you can drop something in our virtual buckets. You can text OpsFest online to 44321. And you can also go to opsfest.org and click one of the donation links there, or check the platform that you're looking at, because I think right above or right below, you're going to see a place where you can click a link to click on the screen to donate. So that's enough of that piece. This is a lot to keep together. A wild show that I think today might have 20 characters in it. How do we keep this mayhem from getting completely out of control? Well, my friends, we use a little something else they used in Shakespeare's time. We use an on-stage prompter. Or I guess it's an on-screen prompter, if you will. Now, this is your host for the show, the person whose job it is to keep everything running smoothly, or to continue with the sports metaphor, like in a game, this would be a referee who, stops the action sometimes when it needs to stop, and it makes everybody know that they are safe and okay. They help us when we make mistakes or when we need to stop the action for technical difficulties, of course. So don't worry about it. They are going to make sure that you stay entertained the whole time, and you are so lucky today, friends, because today our prompter is the other artistic director of Original Practice Shakespeare Festival. So please put your hands together for my brother from another mother, Brian Saville Allard.
Hey there! Welcome to Henry V, Part 5. Wait, something like that. Henry V! You know what I mean. So I'm your prompter today. You're stuck with me. I'm sorry to say I died yesterday. I was resurrected as a prompter. It's the same thing that happened with Hotspur. Apparently it's a thing, and we're moving forward exactly that way. Now, my job is to keep everything on track, and I have a tiny little extra job because this is Henry V, and that's I get to be the prologue. So I'm pretty excited about that. Now, I want to know out there, how many of you are super excited? Who has been to all 3 parts of this? Who was here for 4-1, 4-2, and now here for 5? I'm guessing David Martin. That's pretty much my guess. I don't know if there's other people. Maybe Clark Swinford. I'm not sure. A bunch of our actors. But if you were here for the whole time, I want to hear you say, yeah, I want to see a big chat, a big shout out in the chat. Normally we'd, have the big audience cheer, but we can't really hear you. I've been working on my citywide announcing ability, ears ability, but it's not working that way. Ooh, Cindy Lou too. Cindy Lou too. Also here. All right. Now, what I'm wondering is if you're in the kitchen or the backyard, I want to hear a big cheer. Let's hear that big cheer. Who's got that? Who's got that? Who's got that? All right. And if you are in the living room, the bedroom, or God help us if you're in the bathroom, let's hear a big boo. Big boo, big boo, big boos. Oh, big boos would be nice. All right, that's later today. Okay, now that we got that out, I wanted to get everybody all warmed up. I see we have 16 people out there. I'm really excited about this. We're going to keep going, and we're going to start at the very beginning of the life of Henry V by William Shakespeare. Oh, for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention, a kingdom for a stage, princes to act, and monarchs to behold the swelling scene. Then should the warlike Harry, like herself, assume the port of Mars, and at her heels, leashed in like hounds, should famine, sword, and fire crouch for employment. But pardon, gentles all, the flat unraised spirits that hath dared on this unworthy scaffold to bring forth so great an object. Can this cockpit hold the vasty fields of France? Or may we cram within this wooden zoom the very casks that did affright the air at Agincourt? Oh, pardon, since a crooked figure may attest in little place 1,000,000. And let us, ciphers to this great accompt on your imaginary forces work. Suppose within the girdle of these walls are now confined two mighty monarchies, whose high, upreared, and abutting fronts the perilous, narrow ocean parts asunder. Think, when we talk of horses, that you see them, printing their proud hooves in the receiving earth. For 'tis your thoughts that now must deck our kings, carry them here and there, lumping o'er the times, turning the accomplishment of many years into an hourglass. For the which supply, admit me, chorus to this history, who, prologue like, your humble patience pray, gently to hear, kindly to judge our play.
The king is full of grace and fair regard.
Oh, and a true lover of the Holy Church.
The courses of her youth promised it not. The breath no sooner left her father's body, but that her wildness, mortified in him, seemed to die too. Yea, at that very moment, never was such a sudden scholar made, never came reformation in a flood, with such heavy currents scouring faults, nor never hydra-headed willfulness so soon did loose her seat, and all at once, as in this king.
We are blessed in the change.
Hear her debate of commonwealth affairs. You would say it hath been all in all her study. List her discourse of war, and you shall hear a fearful battle rendered to you in music. Turn her to any cause of policy, the Gordian knot of it she will unloose, familiar as her garter, that when she speaks the air, a chartered libertine, is still, and mute the wonder lurketh in men's ears. Which is a wonder how her grace should glean, since her addiction was to courses vain. Her companies unlettered, rude, and shallow. Her hours filled up with riots, banquets, sports, and never noted her in any study, any retirement, any sequestration from open haunts and popularity.
The strawberry grows underneath the nettle, and wholesome berries thrive and ripen best, neighbored by fruits of baser quality. And so the prince obscured her contemplation under the veil of wilderness, grew like the summer grass, fastest by night, unseen yet crescive in her faculty.
Is it 4 o'clock?
It is. Ooh, I lost my hat.
Then we go. Then we go in to know her embassy, which I could with ready guess declare, before the Frenchmen speak a word of it.
Oh, I'll wait upon you, and I long to hear it.
Where is my gracious lord of Canterbury?
Not here in presence.
Oh, send for him, good uncle.
Shall we call in the ambassador, my liege?
Not yet, my cousin. We would be resolved before we hear of him, of some things of weight that task our thoughts concerning us and France.
God and his angels guard your sacred throne and make you long become it.
Sure, we thank you. My learned lord, we pray you to proceed and justly and religiously unfold why the law Salic that they have in France, or should not, bar us in our claim. Therefore take heed how you impawn our person, how you awake our sleeping sword of war. We charge you in the name of God to take heed. For never two such kingdoms did contend without much fall of blood, whose guiltless drops are every one a woe, and sore complaint against they whose wrongs gives edge unto the swords that makes such waste in brief mortality. Under this conjuration, speak, my lord, for we will hear, note, and believe in heart that what you speak is in your conscience washed, as pure as sin with baptism.
Then hear me, gracious sovereign, and your peers, that owe yourselves, your lives and service to this imperial throne. There is no bar to make against your highness' claim to France.
May I with right and conscience make this claim?
The sin upon my head, dread sovereign, for in the book of Numbers it is writ, when the man dies, let the inheritance descend unto the daughter. Gracious Lord, stand for your own. Unwind your bloody flag. Look back into your mighty ancestors.
We must not only arm to invade the French, but lay down our proportions to defend it.
Awake remembrance of these valiant dead, Bishop.
Oh, yes. Awake remembrance of these valiant dead, and with your puissant army renewed their feats. You are their heir. You sit upon their throne.
Your brother kings and monarchs of the earth do all expect that you should rouse yourself, as did the former lions of your blood.
They know your grace hath cause, and means, and might. So hath your highness. Never king of England had nobles richer and more loyal subjects.
In aid whereof, we of spirituality will raise your highness such a mighty sum as never did the clergy at one time bring into any of your ancestors.
We must not only arm to invade the French, but lay down our proportions to defend against the Scot, who will make road upon us with all advantages.
They of those marches, gracious sovereign, shall be a wall sufficient to defend our inland from pilfering borderers.
No, we do not mean the coursing snatchers only, but fear the main intendment of the Scot, who hath been still a giddy neighbor to us. For you shall read that my great-grandfather never went with his forces into France, but that the Scot, on his unfurnished kingdom, came pouring like the tide into a breach with ample and brim fullness of his force, that England, being empty of defense, hath shook and trembled at the ill neighborhood.
There's a saying, very old and true. If that you will France win, then with Scotland first begin. Once the eagle, England, being in prey to her unguarded nest, the weasel, Scot, comes sneaking and so sucks her princely eggs, playing the mouse in absence of the cat, to tame and havoc more than she can eat.
It follows then, the cat must stay at home. Yet that is but a crushed necessity, since we have locks to safeguard necessaries and pretty traps to catch the petty thieves, while that the armed hand doth fight abroad, the advised head defends itself at home.
As many arrows loosed several ways, come one to mark, as many ways meet in one town. As many fresh streams meet in one salt sea, so may 1,000 actions once afoot, and in one purpose, and be all well born without defeat. Therefore, to France, my liege, divide your happy England into 4, whereof you take 1 quarter into France, and you withal shall make all Gallia shake. If we with thrice such powers left at home cannot defend our own doors from the dog, let us be worried, and our nation lose the name of hardiness and policy.
Call in the messengers sent from the Dolphin. Now are we well resolved, and by God's help and yours, the noble sinews of our power, France being ours, we'll bend it to our awe, or break it all to pieces, or there we'll sit, ruling in large and ample empery, or France and all her almost kingly dukedoms. Or lay these bones in an unworthy urn, tombless, with no remembrance o'er them. Either our history shall with full mouth speak freely of our acts, or else our grave, like silent mute, shall have a tongueless mouth, not worshipped with a waxen epitaph. Now are we well prepared to know the pleasure of our fair cousin Dolphin, For we hear your greeting is from him and not from the king.
May it please your majesty to give us leave freely to render what we have in charge, or shall we sparingly shew you far off the Dauphin's meaning and our embassy?
We are no tyrants, but a Christian king, unto whose grace our passion is as subject as is our wretches fettered in our prisons. Therefore, with frank and with uncurbed plainness, tell us the Dauphin's mind.
This then in a view, your highness, lately sending into France, did claim some certain dukedoms in the right of your great predecessor, King Edward III. In answer of which claim, the prince, our master, says that you savor too much of your youth, and bid you be advised, there's not in France that can be with a nimble galliard one. You cannot revel into dukedom there. He therefore sends you meter for your spirit, this ton of treasure. And in lieu of this, desires you that the dukedoms that you claim hear no more of you. This the Dauphin speaks.
What treasure, uncle?
Tennis balls, my liege.
We are glad. The Dauphin is so pleasant with us. His present and your pains we thank you for. When we have matched our rackets to these balls, we will in France, by God's grace, play a set, shall strike his father's crown into the hazard. How he comes o'er us with our wilder days, not measuring what use we made of them. We never valued this poor seat of England, therefore living hence did give ourselves to barbarous license, as 'tis ever common that men are merriest when they are from home. But tell the Dauphin, I will keep my state, be like a king, and shew my sail of greatness when I do rouse me in my throne of France. For that have I laid by my majesty and plodded like a man for working days, but I will rise there with so full a glory that I will dazzle all the eyes of France. Yea, strike the Dauphin blind to look on us, and tell the pleasant prince, this mock of his hath turned his balls to gunstones, and his soul shall stand sore charged for the wasteful vengeance that shall fly with them. For many 1,000 widows shall this his mock out of their dear husbands. Mock mothers from their sons, mock castles down. And some are yet ungotten and unborn that shall have cause to curse the Dauphin's scorn. Tell you the Dauphin, I am coming on to venge me as I may, and to put forth my rightful hand in a well-hallowed cause. So get you hence in peace, and tell the Dauphin his jest will savor but of shallow wit, when thousands weep more than did laugh at it. Convey him with safe conduct. Fare you well.
This was a merry message.
We hope to make the sender blush at it. Therefore, my lords, omit no happy hour that may give furtherance to our expedition, for we have now no thought in us but France. Therefore, let our proportions for these wars be soon collected, and all things thought upon that may with reasonable swiftness add more feathers to our wings. For God before, we'll chide this Dauphin at his father's door. Therefore, let everyone now cast their thought that this fair action may on foot be brought.
Aye.
Well met, Corporal Nim.
Good morrow, Lieutenant Bartle.
What, are Ancient Pistol and you friends yet?
For my part, I care not. I say little, but when time shall serve, there shall be smiles, but that shall be as it may. I dare not fight, but I will wink and hold out mine eye, and it is a simple one. But what though? It will toast cheese, and it will endure cold as another man's sword will, and there's an end.
I will bestow a breakfast to make you friends, and we'll be all three sworn brothers to France. Let be so good, Corporal Nim.
Faith, I will live as long as I may, that's the certain of it. And when I cannot live any longer, I will do as I may.
It is certain, Corporal, that he is married to Nell Quickly, and certainly she did you wrong, for you were troth plight to her.
I cannot tell. Things may be as they may. Men may sleep, and they may have their throats about them at that time, and some say knives have edges. It must be as it may. Well, I cannot tell.
Here comes Ancient Pistol and his wife. Oh, good Corporal, be patient here. How now, Host Pistol?
Face talk, cost thou me, host. Now by this hand, I swear I scorn the term, nor shall my Nell keep lodgers.
Oh, nay, by my troth, not long, for we cannot lodge and board a dozen or 14 gentlewomen that live honestly by the prick of their needles, but it will be thought we keep a body house straight. Oh,
no.
Well-a-day, lady, if he be not hewn now, we shall see wilful adultery and murder committed.
Oh, good Lieutenant, good Corporal, offer nothing here.
Pish for thee, island dog, thou pricked cur of Ireland.
Oh, good Corporal Nim, shew thy valour and put up your sword.
Will you shog off? I would have you soulless.
Soulless, egregious dog. Oh, viper vile, the soulless is thine in thy most marvellous face, the soulless in thy teeth, and in thy throat, and in thy hateful lungs, yea, in thy maw, purdy, and which is worse, within thy nasty mouth. I do retort the soulless in thy bowels, for I can take a pistol's cock is up, and flashing fire will follow.
I am not Barberson. You cannot conjure me. I have an humour to knock you indifferently well. If you grow foul with me, Pistol, I will scour you with my rapier as I may in fair terms. If you would walk off, I would prick your guts in little good terms as I may, and that's the humour of it.
Oh, braggart vile, and damned furious white, the grave doth gape, and doting death is near, therefore exhale.
Oh, hear me what I say. He that strikes the first stroke, I'll run him up to the hilts, as I am a soldier.
An oath of mickle might and fury shall abate. Give me thy fist, thy spirits are most tall.
I will cut thy throat one time or other in fair terms. That is the humour of it.
Couple of gorge, that is the word. I defy thee again. Oh, hound of Crete, thinkst thou my spouse to get? No, to the spittle go, and from the pounding tub of infamy fetch forth the laser kite of Cressid's kind. Dole tear she by name, and her espouse. I have, and I will hold the quondam quickly for the only she. And pocker, there's enough to go to.
My host Pistol, you must come to my master and your hostess. He's very sick and would to bed. Good Bardolph, put thy face between his sheets and do the office of a warming pan. Faith, he's very ill.
Away, you rogue.
Oh,
Excuse me, Mistress Quickly, I need to step in here for a second.
Yes.
Question. Yesterday, you didn't seem to like Pistol very much.
Oh.
Now you're married to him. I'm just wondering what changed.
Oh, right.
Yeah, what's up with that?
All right. Well, if you know, lots of things are changing. We've got a new king. You know, we don't have our dear young prince anymore, and Falstaff's been he's been rather ill. And I was supposed to marry him, and then I was supposed to marry Nim, and then I was supposed to marry Pistol, and well, Pistol he's a man of action, you know. So that was just really the one that ended up happening. And
Also, I've got a lot of money.
yeah, yes, that too. And you know, we were running a little bit of a sketchy business last time, which was, well, it was dangerous, as fun as it could be sometimes.
Not
Hey,
anymore.
well, I don't talk a lot. I wouldn't have spoiled it.
No, you just say that's the humor of it.
All right. Now, let's not get the daggers out again. Let's go ahead with By My Troth quickly.
By my troth, the king has killed his heart. Oh, good husband, come home presently.
Oh, come, shall I make you two friends? We must to France together. Why the devil should we keep knives to cut one another's throats?
Let floods or swell and fiends for fools howl on.
You'll pay me the 8 shillings I won of you at betting.
What base is the slave that pays?
That now I will have. That's the humour of it.
As manhood shall compound, push home!
By this sword! He that makes the first thrust, I'll kill him. By this sword I will.
Sword is an oath, and oaths must have their course.
Corporal Nim, and now wilt be friends, and thou wilt not, why then be enemies with me to prithee put up.
A noble shalt thou have, and present pay, and liquor likewise will I give to thee, and friendship shall combine. If I can get this knife close, there we go. And brotherhood. I'll live by Nim, and Nim shall live by me. Is not this just? For I shall seller be unto the camp, and profits will accrue. Give me thy hand.
I shall have my noble.
In cash, most justly paid.
Well, then that's the humour of it.
As ever you come of women, coming quickly to Sir John, a poor heart, he is so shaped of a burning custodian passion. It is almost lamentable to behold. Oh, sweet men, oh, come to him. Oh.
The king hath run bad humours on the night. That's the even of it.
Nim, thou spoke the right. His heart is fractured and corroborate.
The king is a good king, and it must be as is, as it may. She passes some humours and some careers.
Let us condone the night, for lambkins, we will live.
Now, all the youth of England are on fire, and silken dalliance in the wardrobe lies. Now thrive the armorers, and honor's thought reigns solely in the breast of every one. The French, advised by good intelligence of this most dreadful preparation, shake in their fear, and with pale policy seek to divert the English purposes. Oh, England, modeled to thy inward greatness, would all thy children kind and natural, but see, thy fault France hath in thee found out a nest of hollow bosoms, which he fills with treacherous crowns, and 2 corrupted ones, one Richard, Earl of Cambridge, and the second Henry, Lord Scroop of Masham, and they both have for the guilt of France, oh, guilt indeed, confirmed conspiracy with fearful France, and by their hands this grace of kings must die. The sum is paid, the traitors are agreed, the king is set from London, and the scene is now transported, gentles, to Southampton. There is the playhouse now. There must you sit, and thence to France shall we convey you safe, and bring you back, charming the narrow seas, to give you gentle pass. For if we may, we'll not offend one stomach with our play.
For God, his grace is bold to trust these traitors.
They shall be apprehended by and by.
How smooth and even they do bear themselves, as if allegiance in their bosom sat, crowned with faith and constant loyalty.
The king hath note of all that they intend, by interception which they dreamed not of.
Nay, but the one that was her bedfellow, whom she hath dulled and cloyed with gracious favors, that she should, for a foreign purse, so sell her sovereign's life to death and treachery.
Now sits the wind fair, and we will aboard. My lord of Cambridge, and my kind lord of Masham, think you not that the powers we bear with us will cut their passage through the force of France?
No doubt, my liege, if each man and woman do their best.
I doubt not that, since we are well persuaded, we carry not a heart with us from hence that grows not in a fair consent with ours, nor leave not one behind that doth not wish success and conquest to attend on us.
Never a monarch better feared and loved than is your majesty. There's not, I think, a subject that sits the heart of grief and uneasiness under the sweet shade of your governess.
True, those that were your fathers.
True. Those that were your father's enemies have steeped their galls in honey and do serve you with hearts create of duty and of zeal.
We therefore have great cause of thankfulness, and shall forget the office of our hands sooner than quittance of desert and merit, according to the weight and worthiness.
So service shall with steeled sinews toil, and labor shall refresh itself with hope to do your grace incessant services.
We judge no less. Uncle of Exeter, enlarge the man committed yesterday that railed against our person. We consider it was excess of wine that set him on, and on his more advice, we pardon him.
That's mercy, but too much security. Let him be punished, sovereign, lest example breed by his sufferance more of such a kind.
Oh, let us yet be merciful.
So may your highness, and yet punished too.
Oh, you show great mercy if you give him life after the taste of much correction.
Alas, your too much love and care of me are heavy orisons against this poor wretch. If little faults proceeding on distemper shall not be winked at, how shall we stretch our eye when capital crimes, chewed, swallowed, and digested, appear before us? We'll yet enlarge that man, though Cambridge, Scroop, and all in their dear care and tender preservation of our person would have him punished. And now to our French causes. Who are the late commissioners?
I won, my lord. Your highness bade me ask for it today.
So did you mean, my liege?
Then Richard, Earl of Cambridge, there is yours. They're yours, Lord Scroop of Masham. Read them and know I know your worthiness. My Lord Westmoreland and Uncle Exeter, we will aboard tonight. Why, how now, gentlefolk? What see you in those papers that you lose so much complexion? Oh, look ye, how they change. Their cheeks are paper. Why, what read you there that have so cowarded and chased your blood out of appearance?
I do confess.
confess my fault, and I do submit me to your highness' mercy.
So to which we both appeal.
Oh, the mercy that was quick in us, but late by your own counsel is suppressed and killed. You must not dare for shame to talk of mercy for your own reasons. Turn into your bosoms as dogs upon their maesters, worrying you. See you, my princes and my noble peers, these English monsters. My lord of Cambridge here, you know how apt our love was, and this man hath for a few light crowns lightly conspired and sworn unto the practices of France to kill us here in Hampton. Oh, but, oh, what shall I say to thee, Lord Scroop? Thou cruel, ingrateful, savage, and inhumane creature. Thou that didst bear the key of all my counsels, that knewest the very bottom of my soul. May it be possible that foreign hire could out of thee extract one spark of evil that might annoy my finger? 'Tis so strange that though the truth of it stands off as gross as black and white, my eye will scarcely see it. And whatsoever cunning fiend it was that wrought upon thee so preposterously hath got the voice in hell for excellence, and other devils that suggest by treasons do botch and bungle up damnation. But he that tempered thee, bade thee stand up, gave thee no instance why thou shouldst do treason, unless to dub thee with the name of traitor. If that same demon that hath gulled thee thus should with his lion gait walk the whole world, he might return to vasty Tartar back and tell the legions, I can never win a soul so easy as that Englishman's. And thus thy fall hath left a kind of blot to make the full fraught man and best endued with some suspicion. I will weep for thee. For this revolt of thine, methinks, is like another fall of man. Their faults are open. Arrest them to the answer of the law, and God acquit them of their practices.
I arrest thee of high treason by the name of Richard, Earl of Cambridge. I arrest thee of high treason by the name of Thomas, Lord Scroop of Marsham.
Our purposes God justly hath discovered, and I repent my fault more than my death, which I beseech your highness to forgive, although my body may pay the price of it.
For me, the gold of France did not seduce, although I did admit it as a motive the sooner to effect what I intended.
God quit you in his mercy. Hear your sentence. You have conspired against our royal person, joined with an enemy proclaimed, and from their coffers received the golden earnest of our death, wherein you would have sold your king to slaughter, her princes and her peers to servitude, her subjects to oppression and contempt, and her whole kingdom into desolation. Touching our person, seek we no revenge, but we, our kingdom's safety, must so tender, whose ruin you sought, that to her laws we do deliver you. Get you therefore hence, poor miserable wretches, to your death, the taste whereof God of his mercy give you patience to endure, and true repentance of all your dear offenses. Bear them hence. Oh. Now, lords, for France, the enterprise whereof shall be to you as us, like glorious. We doubt not of a fair and lucky war, for every rub is smoothed on our way. Then forth, dear countrymen, let us deliver cheerly to see the signs of war advance. No king of England, if not king of France. Oh,
Prithee, honey, sweet husband, let me bring thee to Staines.
No, for my manly heart doth earn. Bardolph, be blithe. Nym, rouse thy vaunting veins. Boy, bristle thy courage up. For Falstaff, he is dead. And we must earn, therefore.
Would I were with him, wheresoever he is, either in heaven, no, or in hell.
Nay, sure he's not in hell. He's in Arthur's bosom, if ever a man went to Arthur's bosom. And made a finer end and went away, and it had been any Christian child, a pardon even just between 12 and 1, even at the turning of the tide. For after I saw him fumble with the sheets and play with flowers and smile upon his finger's end, I knew there was but one way. How now, Sir John, quoth I, what man? Be of good cheer. So I cried out. He cried out, God, 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 3 or 4 times. Now I, to comfort him, bid should not think of God. I hoped there was no need to trouble himself with any such thoughts yet, so I bade me lay more clothes on his feet and put my hand into the bed and felt them, and they were as cold as any stone. Then I felt his knees, and so upbeard and upward, and all was as cold as any stone.
They say cried out of sex.
I that it did.
And of women?
And of women.
Ah, nay, that it did not.
Yes, that it did, and said they were devils incarnate.
I could never abide carnation. It was a colour he never liked.
It said once the devil would have him about women.
I did in some sort indeed handle women. But then he was rheumatic and talked of the whore of Babylon.
Do you not remember I saw a flea stick upon Bardolph's nose and said it was a black soul burning in hell?
Well, the fuel is gone that maintained that fire. That's all the riches I got in his service.
Oh.
Shall we, Shog? The king will be gone from Southampton.
Come, let's away. My love, give me thy lips. Look to my chattels and my movables. Let senses rule. The world is pitch and pay. Trust none, for oaths are straws. Men's faiths are wafer cakes, and hold fast is the only dog. Yoke fellows in arms, let us to France like horse leeches, my boys, to suck the very blood, to suck.
And that's but unwholesome food, they say.
Touch her soft mouth and march.
Farewell, hostess.
Oh.
I cannot kiss. That is the humour of it, but adieu.
Let huswife reappear. Keep close. I thee command.
Farewell. Adieu.
Thus comes the English with full power upon us, and more than carefully it us concerns to answer royally in our defences. Therefore, the Dukes of Berry and of Bretagne, of Brabant and of Orleans shall make forth, and you, Prince Dauphin, with all swift dispatch to line and new repair our towns of war with men of courage, and with means diffident. It fits us then to be as provident as fear may teach us out of late examples left by the fatal and neglected English upon our fields.
My most redoubted father, it is most we we arm us against the foe. For peace itself should not so dull a kingdom, but that defenses, musters, preparations should be maintained, assembled and collected, as we are war in expectation. And let us not, or excuse me, let us do it with no show of fear. No, with no more than if we heard that England were busied with a Whitsunday dance. For my good liege, she is so idly kinged, her scepter is so fantastically borne by a vain, giddy, shallow, humorous youth, that we attend her not.
Oh, peace, Prince Dolphin. You are too much mistaken in this king. Question, your grace, the late ambassadors, was what great state she heard their embassy, how well supplied with noble counselors, and how terrible and constant resolution. And you shall find her vanities forspent, as gardeners do with odor, hide those roots, that shall first spring and be most delicate.
Well, 'tis not so, my lord high constable, but though we think it so, it is no matter. In cases of defense, 'tis best to weigh the enemy more mighty than him seems.
Think we King Harry strong, and princess, or look you strongly armed to meet her?
Ambassadors from Harry, King of England, crave admittance to your majesty.
We'll give them present audience. Go, bring them. You see, this chase is hotly followed, friends.
Pick up the English shot and let them know of what a monarchy you are the head. Self-love, my liege, is not so vile a sin as self-neglecting.
Yeah, from our brother of England.
From her, and thus she greets your majesty. She wills you in the name of God Almighty that you divest yourself and lay apart the borrowed glories that by gift of heaven, by law of nature and of nations, longs to her and her heirs, namely the crown and the all wide-stretched honors that pertain by custom and the ordinance of times unto the crown of France. You then resign your crown and kingdom indirectly held from her, the naked and true challenger.
What else? What follows?
Bloody constraint. For if you hide the crown even in your hearts, there will she rake for it. Therefore, in fierce tempest is she coming, in thunder and in earthquake, like a Jove, that if requiring fail, she will compel. Deliver up the crown and take mercy on the poor souls for whom this hungry war opens his vasty jaws, and on your heads, turning the widow's tears, the orphan's cries, the dead men's blood, the privy maiden's groans for husbands, fathers, and betrothed lovers that shall be swallowed in this controversy. This is her claim, her threatening, and my message. Unless the dolphin be in presence here, to whom I expressly bring greeting to.
For us, we will consider of this further. Tomorrow shall you bear our full intent back to our sister of England.
For the dolphin, I stand here for her. What to her from England?
Scorn and defiance, slight regard, contempt, and anything that may not misbecome the mighty center doth she prize you at. Thus says my king. And if your father's highness do not, in grant all demands at large, sweeten the bitter mock you sent her majesty, she'll call you to so hot an answer of it that caves and womb-me voltages of France shall chide your trespass and return your mock in second assent of her ordinance.
So, if my father render fair return, it is against my will, for I desire nothing but odds with England. But to that end, as matching to his youth and vanity, I did present her with the Paris balls.
She'll make your Paris Louvre shake for it. And be assured, You'll find a difference, as we, her subjects, have in wonder found between the promise of her greener days and these she masters now. That you shall read in your own losses if she stay in France.
Tomorrow shall you know our mind at full.
Dispatch us with all speed, lest that our king come here herself to question our delay, for she is footed in the land already.
You shall be soon dispatched. With fair conditions, a night is but a small breath and a little pause to answer matters of this consequence.
Thus, with imagined wing, our swift scene flies, in motion of no less celerity than that of thought. Suppose that you have seen the well-appointed king at Dover pier embark her royalty and her brave fleet with silken streamers, the young Phoebus feigning. Play with your fancies, and in them behold, upon the hempen tackle, ship boys climbing. Hear the shrill whistle, which doth order give to sounds confused. Behold the threatened sails, borne with the invisible and creeping wind, draw the huge bottoms through the furrowed sea, breasting the lofty surge. Oh, do but think, you stand upon the rivage, and behold a city on the inconstant billows, dancing. For so appears this fleet majestical, holding due course to Harflew. Follow, work your thoughts, and therein see a siege. Behold the ordnance on their campaigns, the fatal mouths gaping on girded Harflew. Suppose the ambassador from the French comes back, tells Harry that the king doth offer him Catherine, his daughter, and with her to dowry some petty and unprofitable dukedoms. The offer likes not. And the nimble gunner with linstock now the devilish cannon touches, and down goes all before them. Be kind still, and eke out our performance with your mind.
Once more, onto the bridge! Dear friends, once more, or close up the wall with our English dead. In peace, there's nothing so becomes a man as modest stillness and humility, but when the blast of war blows in our ears, then imitate the action of the tiger. Stiffen the sinews, commune up the blood, disguise fair nature with hard favored rage, then lend the eye a terrible aspect. Let it pry through the portage of the head like the brass cannon. Let the brow o'erwhelm it as fearfully as doth a galled rock or hang and Juddy's confounded base, swilled with the wild and wastful ocean. Now set the teeth and stretch the nostril wide. Hold hard the breath and bend up every spirit to their full height. On, you noblish English, whose blood is fetched from fathers of war-proof. Fathers that, like so many Alexanders, have in these parts from morn till even fought, and sheathed their swords for lack of argument. Dishonor not your mothers, now attest that those whom you called fathers did beget you. Be copied now to those of grosser blood, and teach them how to war. And you, good yeomen, whose limbs were made in England, shew us here the mettle of your pasture. Let us swear that you are worth your breeding, which I doubt not, for there is none of you so mean and base that hath not noble luster in your eyes. I see you stand like greyhounds in the slips, striding upon the start. The king's afoot. Follow your spirit, and upon this charge, cry, God for Harry, England, and St. George! Ah!
Oh, Bardolph, I'd love to hear what you're saying, but you're muted.
On, to the breach, to the breach!
To the breach, yes, maybe
Pray, pray thee, corporal, stay. The knocks are too hot, and for mine own part, I have not a case of lives. The humour of it is too hot. That is the very plain song of it.
The plain song is most just, for humours. Humours do abound, knocks go and come, God's vassals drop and die, and sword and shield and bloody field doth win immortal fame.
Would I were in an alehouse in London, I would give all my fame for a pot of ale and safety.
And I, if wishes would prevail with me, my purpose should not fail with me, but thither would I hie.
As duly, but not as truly, as bird doth sing on bough.
Oh, Llewellyn, where are you at? Up to the breach! Up to the breach, Llewellyn!
I'm coming, give me just a moment.
All right, Pistol.
Oh, yeah, what's up?
You dogs, avaunt, you cullions.
Hold on, I was just gonna ask Pistol though.
Fine.
So you're a soldier,
yeah.
But you're not gonna go to the breach.
Well, I think there are a lot of people already there, and they talk about too many cooks in the kitchen. So no, I'm not.
He doesn't want to get stabbed.
I just want to have reserve forces just in case we need to go back to the breach.
Very interesting military strategy. Let's hear what Llewellyn thinks about that.
Oh, sure.
I'm going to have you all censured for this.
All right. Well, let's do it in Shakespeare. Up to the breach.
Up to the breach, you dogs, avaunt, you cullions.
Be merciful, great Duke, to men of mould. Abate thy rage, abate thy womanly rage, abate thy rage, great Duke. Good bawcock, abate thy rage. Use lenity, sweet Jack.
These be good humours. Your humour wins bad humours.
Oh.
As young as I am, I have observed these three swashers. I am boy to them all three. But all they three, though they would serve me, could not be man to me. For indeed, three such antiques do not amount to a man. For Bardolph, he is white-livered and red-faced, by the means whereof a face it out, but fights not. For Pistol, he hath a killing tongue and a quiet sword, by the means whereof breaks words, keeps whole weapons. For Nym, he hath heard that men of few words are the best men, and therefore he scorns to say his prayers, lest should be thought a coward. But his few bad words are matched with as few good deeds, for I never broke any man's head but his own, and that was against a post when he was drunk. He will steal anything and call it purchase. Bardolph stole a loot case and bore it 12 leagues and sold it for 3 halfpence. Nym and Bardolph are sworn brothers in filching, and in Calais they stole a fire shovel. I knew by that piece of service the men would carry coals. They would have me as familiar with men's pockets as their gloves or their handkerchers, which makes as much against my manhood. If I should take from another's pocket to put into mine, for it is plain pocketing up of wrongs. I must leave them and seek some better service. Their villainy goes against my weak stomach, and therefore I must cast it up.
Captain Llewellyn, you must come presently to the mines. The Duke of Gloucester would speak with you.
To the mines. I tell you, to the Duke, it is not so good to come to the mines, for look ya, the mines is not according to the disciplines of the war. The adversary you may discuss unto the Duke, look ya, is digged himself 4 yards under the countermines by Cheshire. I think it will plow up all if there's not better directions. I will be so bold as to tell you I know the disciplines of the war, and there is an end.
How yet resolves the governor of the town? This is the latest quarrel we will admit. Therefore, to our best mercy, give yourselves. or like to those proud of destruction, defy us to our worst. For as I am a soldier, a name that in my thoughts becomes me best, if I begin the battle once again, I will not leave a half-achieved Harfleur, till in her ashes she lie buried. Therefore, you men of Harfleur, take pity of your town and of your people, whiles yet my soldiers are in my command, whiles yet the cool and temperate wind of grace o'erblows the filthy and contagious clouds of headly murder, spoil, and villainy. What say you? Will you yield and this avoid? Or guilty in defense be thus destroyed?
Our expectation is this day and the Dauphin, whom of course we entreated, returns us that his powers are not yet ready to raise so great a siege. Therefore, great king, yield our town and life to thy soft mercy. Enter our gates, dispose of us and ours, for we no longer are defensive.
Open your gates. Come, Uncle Exeter, go you and enter Harfleur. There remain and fortify it strongly against the French. Use mercy to them, for all of us, dear uncle. The winter coming on and sickness growing upon our soldiers, we will retire to Calais. Tonight in Harfleur, we will be your guest. Tomorrow for the march we are addressed.
Alice, tu as été en Angleterre et tu parles bien le langage?
Un peu, madame.
Je te prends enseigner, il que faut je prends parle. Comment appelle-vous les mains en anglais?
Le main, elle appelle the hand.
The hand.
Et les doigts.
Oh, les doigts, je m'en fous, j'ai oublié. Mais je sumerai. Les doigts, je pense qu'ils sont appelés des fingers ou des fingers. Des fingers.
Le main, the hand, les doigts, les fingers. Je pense que je suis le bon escolier.
Je gagnais 2 mots d'anglais vivement. Oh, comment appelez-vous les ongles?
Ou les ongles, les appelons des nails.
Des nails. Écoute, dites-moi si je parle bien. Des hands, des fingers et des nails.
C'est bien dit, madame, il est fort bon anglais.
Oh, dites-moi l'anglais pour le bras.
The arm, madame.
Et the good?
D'elbow.
D'elbow. Je m'en fais la répétition de tout le monde que vous m'avez apprendre dès à présent.
Oui, il est trop difficile, madame, comme je pense.
Excusez-moi, Alice. Écoute. Le hand, the fingers, the nails, the arm et the elbow.
Oui, the elbow, madame.
Oh, si tu en dis, je m'en oubliais d'elbow. Comment appelez-vous le col?
The neck, madame.
The neck. Le menton?
The seam.
The seam. Le col du neck. Le menton du seam.
Oui, sur votre honneur, en vérité, vous prononciez les mots aussi droit que les natifs d'Angleterre.
Oh, je ne doute pas d'apparence de la grâce de Dieu et un peu de temps.
Oh, non, vous idiots, oubliez ce que je vous ai enseigné.
Non, je réciterai à vous promptement. The hands, the fingers, the nails, nails.
The nails, madame.
The nails. Done. D'elbow.
Sur votre honneur, d'elbow.
On a dit que je dis d'elbow. The neck. du cygne. Oh, comment appelez-vous? À la pièce, oui, et la robe?
Le foot, madame, et le compte.
Oh, le foot et le compte?
Excellent, madame!
Oh, Seigneur Dieu, le monde sont mauvais, table, grosse et impudique, non pour le temps des honneurs, tu sais. Oh, je n'ouvre de les prononcer ces mots devant le Seigneur de France. Pour tout le monde, pour le foot et le compte, oh, ni moi. Je réciterai une autre fois ma leçon ensemble des Hans, des Fingers, des Nails, d'armes, des elbow, oui, oui, du nuque, du signe, le foot et le compte.
Excellent, madame!
C'est assez pour une fois. Allons-nous à dîner.
'Tis certain, King of France. Where are my French people?
Oh, oui, oui.
Oh, it's the Duke of Orleans!
Oh.
Tell me, Duke, what do you think of the American city, New Orleans?
Oh, New Orleans. Well, it's quite fascinating. Their culture there. They eat the little sea bugs, the crawdaddies. Yes, they are very crunchy. I eat the whole thing. I think, oh, this has quite a bite. This is a snack that bites back, as I think they say over in your country. But yes, I like the music, the river of mud, and oh yes, it has the big bad voodoo daddies. They do the good swing.
All right, I'm glad that's made it over the pond. All right, French King, 'tis certain.
Well, now I'm going to actually have you look one more time here. It's very complicated. This
Certain
thing.
he hath passed the river Somme.
Ah, yes, I see it now. 'Tis certain he hath passed the river Somme.
And if she be not fought withal, my lord, let us not live in France. Let us quit all and give our vineyards to a barbarous people.
Oh, no, ma vie, if they march along on foot with all, but I will sell my dukedom to buy a slobbery and dirty farm in that nook-shotten Isle of Albion.
Oh, do the better elsewhere have they this metal? Is not their climate foggy, raw, and dull, on whom, as in despite the sun looks pale, killing their fruit with frowns? Can sudden water decoct their cold blood to such valiant heat? And shall our quick blood, spirited with wine, seem frosty? Oh, for honor of our land, let us not hang like roping icicles upon our houses' thatch, while the more frosty people sweat drops of gallant youth in our rich fields.
By faith and honor. Our madams mock us and plainly say our metal is bred out, and they will give their bodies to the last of the English youths. Ugh! To new store France with bastard warriors.
They bid us to the English dancing schools, saying our grace is only in our heels, and that we are most lofty runaways.
Where's Montjoy, the herald? Spit him hence. Let him greet England with our sharp defiance, princes. And with spirit of honor, aged more sharper than your swords, high to the field. Charles Delabrethe, Herr Constable of France, you Dukes of Orleans, Bourbon and Berry, High Dukes, great princes, barons, lords, and kings, for your great seats now quit you of great shames, bar Harry, England, that sweeps through our land with pinions painted in the blood of Harflew. Go down upon her. You have power enough. Bring her, our prisoner.
This becomes the great. Sorry am I, her numbers are so few, her soldiers sick and famished in their march. For I am sure when she shall see our army, she'll drop her heart into the sink of fear, and for achievement, offer us her ransom.
Therefore, Lord Constable, hast on Montjoy, and let them say to England that we sent to know what willing ransom they will give. Prince Dauphin, you shall stay with us in Rouen.
Not so, I do beseech your majesty.
Be patient, for you shall remain with us. Now, forth, Lord Constable, and princes all, and quickly bring us word, or the Englands fall.
How now, Captain Llewellyn? Gower.
How now, Captain Llewellyn? Come you from the bridge?
I assure you there's very excellent services committed at the bridge.
Is the Duke of Exeter safe?
Oh, the Duke of Exeter is as magnanimous as Agamemnon and a man that I love and honor with my soul and my heart and my duty and my life and my living and my uttermost power. He is not, God be praised and blessed, any hurt in the world, but keeps the bridge most valiantly and with excellent discipline. There is an ancient lieutenant at the bridge. I think in my very conscience he is as valiant a man as Mark Antony, and he is a man of no estimation in the world, but I did see him do as gallant service.
What do you call him?
He is called Ancient Pistol.
I know him not.
Here's the man.
Captain, I thee beseech to do me favours. The Duke of Exeter doth love thee well.
Aye, I praise God and have merited some love at his hands.
Bardolph, a soldier firm and sound of heart, and of buxom valour, hath by cruel fate and giddy fortune's furious fickle wheel, that goddess blind.
By your patience. Ancient Pistol Fortune is painted blind with a muffler for his eyes to signify to you that Fortune is blind. And she is also painted with a wheel to signify to you, which is the moral of it, that she is turning and inconstant. In good truth, the poet makes a most excellent description of it. Fortune is an excellent moral.
Fortune is Bardolph's foe and frowns on him, for he hath stolen a pax and hanged must be. A damned death, a gallows gate for dog, let man go free, and let not hemp his windpipe suffocate. But Exeter hath given the doom of death for pax of little price. Therefore go speak. The Duke will hear thy voice. Let not Bardolph's vital thread be cut with vile reproach. Speak, Captain, for his life, and I will thee requite.
Ancient Pistol, I do partly understand your meaning.
Why then rejoice therefore?
Certainly, Ancient, it is not a thing to rejoice at, for if, look ya, he were my brother, I would desire the Duke to use his good pleasure and put him to execution, for discipline ought to be used.
Die and be damned, and figgo for thy friendship.
It is well.
No, the fig of Spain.
Very good.
Why, this is an arrant counterfeit rascal. I remember him now, a bard, a cutpurse.
I assure you, I suffered as brave words at the bridge as you shall see in a summer's day, but it is very well. What he has spoke to me, that is well, I warrant you, when time is served.
Why, 'tis a gull, a fool, a rogue that now and then goes to the wars to grace himself at his return into London under the form of a soldier.
I tell you what, Captain Gar, I do perceive he is not the man that he would gladly make true to the world he is. If I find a hole in his coat, I will tell him my mind. Hark ya! The king is coming, and I must speak with her from the bridge. God bless your majesty.
How now, Llewellyn? Camest thou from the bridge?
So please your majesty, the Duke of Exeter has very gallantly maintained the bridge. The French is gone off, look ya, and I can tell your majesty, the Duke is a brave man.
What men have you lost, Llewellyn?
The perdition of the
I don't know
adversary.
what else you want me to say.
The perdition of the adversary, Llewellyn.
I can't hear anything, but I'm so happy to be here.
The perdition of the adversary hath been great. Reasonable great. Llewellyn? We've lost Llewellyn.
She seems a little overwhelmed by the whole situation.
Can anybody hear me?
We can hear
No.
you. Can you hear us?
I'm going to go take a few deep breaths and come back, for I can't hear any of you say a thing.
King Henry
Llewellyn's gotten
King
a bit
Henry.
of the war deafness.
King Henry, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you just fine. I think Llewellyn's just a little overwhelmed with everything that's been going on.
How was the battle at the bridge?
Well, so far so good, honestly. I mean, it's been a little tough.
Yes,
Can
Llewellyn.
you hear me?
Yes, can you hear us?
Brilliant. Hello, everyone. I missed you so much. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I embarrassed myself that way in front of the king. Please continue.
Llewellyn, how dare you embarrass yourself that way in front of the prompter? The
I
perdition,
apologize.
the perdition of the adversary.
The perdition of the adversary hath been very great, reasonable, great. Marry, for my part, I think the Duke hath lost never a man, but one that is like to be executed for robbing a church, one Bardolph, if your majesty know the man. His face is all bubblecles and whelks and knobs and flames of fire, and it is like a coal of fire, sometimes blue and sometimes red, but his nose is executed and his fire's out.
Oh, we would have all such offenders so cut off. And we give express charge that in our marches through the country, there be nothing compelled from the villages, nothing taken but paid for, none of the French upbraided or abused in disdainful language. For when levity and cruelty play for a kingdom, the gentler gamester is the soonest winner.
You know me by my habit.
Well, then, I know thee. What shall I know of thee?
My master's mind.
Unfold it.
Thus says my king, said out to Harry of England, though we seem dead, we did but sleep. Advantage is a better soldier than rashness. Tell him we could have rebuked him at our foe, but that we thought it not good to bruise an injury till it were full ripe. Now we speak upon our cue, and our voice is in peril. England shall repent his folly, see his weakness, and admire our sufferance. But bid him therefore consider of her ransom, which must a prompter. Is it a bit dark in here? I cannot read the message.
Oh, Montoya.
There we go. All right. Yeah, we'll see. Oh, can I start at England shall repent?
That's a marvelous place, because that seems like your main playthrough there.
Merci. England shall repent her folly, see her weakness, and admire our sufferance. Bid her therefore consider of her ransom, which must proportion the subjects we have lost. For our losses, her is too poor, and for our disgrace, her own person kneeling at our feet, but a weak and worthless satisfaction. To this add defiance, and tell her for conclusion, she hath betrayed her followers, which condemnation is pronounced. So far, my king and master, so far, my office.
What is thy name? I know thy quality.
Mountjoy.
Thou doest thou office fairly. Turn thee back and tell thy king, I do not seek him now, but could be willing to march on to Calais without impeachment. For, to say the sooth, my people are with sickness much enfeebled. My numbers lessened, and those few I have almost no better than so many French. Go therefore, tell thy master, here I am. My ransom is this frail and worthless trunk. My army, but a weak and sickly guard, yet gone before. Tell him we will come on, though France himself and such another neighbor stand in our way. There's for thy labor, Mountjoy. Go bid thy master well advise himself. If we may pass, we will. If we be hindered, we shall your tawny ground with your red blood discolor. And so, Mountjoy, fare you well. The sum of all our answer is but this. We would not seek a battle as we are, nor as we are, we say we will not shun it. So tell your master.
I shall deliver so, thanks to your highness.
I hope they will not come upon us now.
We are in God's hand, brother, not in theirs. March to the bridge. It now draws toward night. Beyond the river, we'll encamp ourselves. And on tomorrow, bid them march away.
I have the best armor of the world. Oh, would it were a day.
Oh, you have an excellent armor, but let my horse have his due.
Oh, it is the best horse of Europe.
Oh, will it never be morning?
My lord of Orleans, and my high constable, you talk of horse and armor?
You are as well provided of both as any prince in the world.
What a long night is this? I will not change my horse with any that treads but on four postures. Ha! Oh, he bounds from the earth as if his entrails were hairs. Le cheval volant, the Pegasus, chez la narine de feu. When I bestride him, I soar. I am a hawk. He trots the air. The earth sings when he touches it.
Oh, he's the color of nutmeg.
He is pure air and fire. He is indeed a horse, and all of the shades you may call beasts.
Indeed, my lord, it is the most absolute and excellent horse.
It is the prince of Palfrey's. His neck is like the beating of a monarch, and his countenance enforces homage.
Oh, no more, cousin.
Nay, 'tis a subject for a sovereign to reason on, and for a sovereign to ride on. I once wrote a sonnet in his praise and began thus: Wonder of nature.
I have heard a sonnet begin so to one's mistress.
Then did they imitate that which I composed to my cursor, for my horse is my mistress.
Your mistress bears well.
Me well, which is the prescribed praise and perfection of a good and particular mistress.
Oh, nay, methought yesterday your mistress shrewdly shook your back.
So perhaps did yours.
Ah, mine was not bridled.
Oh, then belike she was like old and gentle, and you rode with your French hose off.
Oh, you have a good judgment in horsemanship.
Be warned by me then. They that ride so and ride not warily fall into foul bogs. I had rather have my horse to my mistress.
Ah, I had as lieve have my mistress a jade.
I tell thee, constable, my mistress wears his own hair.
I could make as true a boast as that if I had a sow to my mistress.
Don't make
Oh, yet I do not use my horse for my mistress.
Will it never be day? I will trot tomorrow a mile, and my way shall be paved with English faces.
Oh, I will not say so, for I fear I should be faced out of my way, but I would. It were morning, for I would fain be about the ears of the English.
This midnight, I'll go arm myself.
Yes, the dolphin longs for morning.
He longs to eat the English.
Yeah, I think he will eat all he kills.
Oh, that is the right hand of my lady. He's a gallant prince.
Oh, swear by her foot she may tread out the oath.
He is simply the most active gentleman of France.
Well, doing his activity, and he will still be doing.
Oh, never did harm that I heard of.
No, nor will do none tomorrow. He will keep that good name still.
Oh, I know him to be valiant.
I was told that by one who knows him better than you.
Oh, what's he?
Oh, and Mary, he told me so himself. He said he cared not who knew it. Would it were day. Alas, poor area of England, she longs not for the dawning as we do.
What a wretched and peevish fellow is this King of England to mope with her fat-brained followers so far out of her knowledge.
If the English had any apprehension, they would run away.
Oh, that they lack, for if their heads had any intellectual armor, they could never wear such heavy headpieces.
Oh, that island of England breeds very valiant creatures. Their mastiffs are of unmatchable courage.
Oh, it is now 2 o'clock, but let me see. By 10, we shall each have 100 Englishmen.
And that is what we call halftime, ladies and gentlemen and gentlemen. We will take in a 10-minute. Now I'm doing the French accent. We will take a 10-minute break. Jennifer, you have anything to say to these people?
All I have to say is hang in there. Everything's going to work out. See if you can put a few ducats in the buckets. And, of course, you might want a little red wine right now. I know that that's something I'm looking forward to later. All right, put the timer on, Brian. my gosh, we can't hear anything. Wow, here we go, prompter. The prompter is almost there, my friends. He will be there any moment because we need to start the second act of Henry the Fifth. And here we are, Brian Savile Allard.
Brian is muted. Brian is muted.
That's okay. That's okay. I'll get him in there and Brian will fix his stuff. Hi there, folks. I just wanted to let you know that Brian will be back in just a second. He had a little mic trouble. You know how it is here at Ops Fest. Sometimes you have a little technical hoo-ha and sometimes you don't. And then we still can't hear our friend Brian. So I think what we may do is go ahead and begin right where we left off, friends, if you're ready. Ding, 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 ding! All right, friends, just go past the...
Now entertain conjecture of a time when creeping murmur on the pouring dark fills the wide vessel of the universe. From camp to camp, through the foul womb of night, the hum of either army stiffly sounds, that fixed sentinels almost receive the secret whispers of each other's watch. The country cocks do crow, the clocks do toll, and the third hour of drowsy morning named. Proud of their numbers and secure in soul, the confident and overlusty French do chide the creeply tarted gated night, who, like a foul and ugly witch, doth limp so tediously away. The poor, condemned English, like sacrifices by their watchful fires, sit patiently and inly ruminate the morning's danger and their gesture sad, investing lank lean cheeks and war-worn coats, presented them unto the gazing moon, so many horrid ghosts. Oh, now, who will behold the royal captain of this ruined band, walking from watch to watch, from tent to tent? Let him cry praise and glory on his head, for forth he goes and visits all her host, bids them good morrow with a modest smile, and calls them brothers, friends, and countrymen. Upon her royal face there is no note, how dread an army hath enrounded her, but freshly looks and overbears a taint with cheerful semblance and sweet majesty, that every wretch pining and pale before, beholding her, plucks comfort from her looks. A largesse universal, like the sun, her liberal eye doth give to everyone thawing cold fear, that mean and gentle all behold as may unworthiness define. A little touch of Harry in the night. And so our scene must to the battle fly, where, oh, for pity, we shall much disgrace with 4 or 5 most vile and ragged foils, right ill disposed, in brawl ridiculous, the name of Agincourt. Yet sit and see, minding true things by what their mockeries be.
Prince John, 'tis true that we are in great danger. The greater, therefore, should our courage be. There is some soul of goodness in things evil. Would men observingly distill it out? For our bad neighbor makes us early stirrers, which is both healthful and good husbandry. Good morrow, old Sir Thomas Erpingham. Oh, good soft pillow for that good white head were better than a churlish turf of France.
Oh, not so, my liege. This lodging likes me better, since I may say now lie I like a king.
'Tis good for men to love their present pains. Upon example, so the spirit is eased. Lend me thy cloak, Sir Thomas. brothers both commend me to the princes in our camps. Do my good morrow to them. And anon, desire them all to my pavilion.
We shall, my liege.
Shall I attend, your grace?
Oh, no, my good knight. Go with my brothers to the lords of England. I and my bosom must debate a while, and then I would no other company.
The Lord in heaven bless thee, noble Harry.
God a mercy, old heart. Thou speakst cheerily.
Chevula,
a friend.
Discuss unto me, art thou officer or art thou base, common, and popular?
I am a gentleman of a company.
Or tracest thou the puissant pike?
Even so. What are you?
As good a gentleman as the emperor.
Oh, then you are better than the king.
The king's a barcock and a heart of gold, a lad of life, imp of fame, of parents good, a fist, most valiant. I kiss her dirty shoe, and from heartstring I love the lovely Bolly. What is thy name?
Harry. Leroy.
Leroy? Cornish name. I like a Cornish crew.
No, I am a Welshman.
Knowst thou Llewellyn?
Yes.
Tell her I'll knock her leak about her pate upon St. Davy's Day.
Do not you wear your dagger in your cap that day, lest she knock that about yours.
Art thou her friend?
And her kinsman, too.
Well, the fig over thee, then.
I thank you. God be with you.
My name is Pistol Cold.
Oh, it sorts well with your fierceness.
Captain Llewellyn!
So, in the name of Duke, speak for your. It is the greatest aberration in the universal world to when the true and ancient prerogatives of the laws of the wars is not kept. If you would take but the pains to examine the wars of Pompey the Great, you shall find, I warrant you, that there's no tittle-tattle nor pibble-babble in Pompey's camp. No, I warrant you, you shall find the ceremonies of the wars and the cares of it and the forms of it and the sobriety of it and the modesty of it. Demi, you're speaking too quietly.
Oh, why the enemy is loud. You hear him all night.
Well, if the enemy is an ass and a fool and a prating coxcomb, is it meet, think ya, that we should also, look ya, be an ass and a fool and a prating coxcomb in your own conscience now?
Check.
I will speak lower.
I pray ya and beseech ya that you will.
Though it appear a little out of fashion, there is much care and valor in this Welshman.
Brother!
Hey, King, what are you doing right now? What's this? What are you doing?
Gosh, I just I want to see how things are going, really, and I'm starting to get the suspicion that if people know that I'm there as the king, they're not going to be honest with me, and I don't know how things are going to go tomorrow. I just feel like I need to be with my people.
Doesn't feel a little sneaky? Not a little sneaky. You're just.
Well, I mean, yeah, it is, but it's not like I haven't done that before. So, just I'm making use of my past. What can I say?
To good, putting false staff's lessons to good use. I think that the scar gives you away, but that's just me.
Right.
All right.
Yes,
Williams.
be careful about that.
Yeah.
Brother John Bates.
Yeah, Brother John
Brother John
Bates.
Bates, that's your line.
Brother John Bates, is not that the morning which breaks yonder?
I think it be, but we've no great cause to desire the approach of day.
We see yonder the beginning of the day, but I think we shall never see the end of it. Yeah, hey, who goes there?
A friend.
Under what captain serve you?
Under Sir John Erpingham.
Ah, good old commander. Most kind gentleman, I pray you, what thinks he of our state?
Even as men racked upon a sand that looked to be washed off the next tide.
Well,
he hath not told his thought to the king.
No, nor it is not meet he should. For though I speak it to you, I think the king is but human, as I am. The violet smells to her as it doth to me. The element shoes to her as it doth to me. All her senses have but human conditions. Her ceremonies laid by, in her nakedness she appears but human, and though her affections are higher mounted than ours, yet when they stoop with the like wing. Therefore, when she sees reason of fears as we do, her fears, out of doubt, be of the same relish as ours are, yet in reason no one should possess them with any appearance of fear. At least they, by shewing it, should dishearten her army.
She may shew what outward courage she will, but I believe, as cold a night as 'tis, she could wish herself in tames up to the neck. And so I would she were, and I by her, and at all adventures, so we were quit here.
By my troth, I will speak with my conscience of the king. I think she would not wish herself anywhere but where she is.
Then I would she were here alone, so she should be sure to be ransomed, and many poor men's lives saved.
I dare say you love her not so ill to wish her here alone. Methinks I could not die anywhere so contented as in the king's company, her cause being just, and her quarrel honorable.
Well, that's more than we know.
Aye, or more than we should seek after, but we know enough. If we know we are the king's subjects, if her cause be wrong, our obedience to the king wipes the crime out of us.
I myself heard the king say she would not be ransomed.
She said so to make us fight cheerfully. But when our throats are cut, she may be ransomed and we none the wiser.
If I live to see it, I will never trust her word after.
Well, you pay her then. That's a perilous shot that a poor and a private displeasure can do against the monarch. You may as well go about to turn the sun to you with a fanning of a face with a peacock's feather. You never trust her words after. Come, 'tis a foolish saying.
Your reproof is something too round.
What?
I should be angry with you if the time were convenient.
Oh, well, let it be a quarrel between us if you live.
I embrace it.
Well, how shall I know thee again?
Give me any gage of thine, and I will wear it in my bonnet. Then, if thou ever darest acknowledge it, I'll make it my quarrel.
All right, well, here's my glove. Now, give me another of thine.
There.
All right. This will I also wear in my cap. If ever thou come to me and say after tomorrow, this is my glove by this hand, I will take thee a box on the air,
If ever I live to see it, I will challenge it.
Thou darest as well be hanged.
Well, I will do it, though I take thee in the king's company.
Yeah, keep thy word. Fare thee well.
Be friends, you English fools. Friends. We have French quarrels now. If you could tell how to reckon.
Indeed. The French may lay 20 French crowns to one they will beat us, for they bear them on their shoulders. But it is no English treason to cut French crowns. And tomorrow, the king herself will be a clipper. Upon the king, let us, our lives, our souls, our debts, our careful wives, our children, and our sins lay on the king. We must bear all. Oh, hard condition. Twin born with greatness, subject to the breath of every fool whose sense no more can feel but their own ringing. What infinite heart's ease must kings neglect, that private folk enjoy? And what have kings that privates have not to save ceremony? Save general ceremony. And what art thou? Thou idle ceremony. What kind of God art thou, that sufferest more of mortal griefs than do thy worshippers? Oh, ceremony, shew me but thy worth. What? Is thy soul of adoration? Art thou aught else but place, degree, and form, creating awe and fear in other men? Wherein art thou less happy being feared than they in fearing? Ugh. What drink'st thou oft instead of homage sweet, but poisoned flattery? Oh, be sick, greatness, and bid thy ceremony give thee cure. Canst thou, when thou commandst the beggar's knee, command the health of it? No, thou proud dream that playedst so subtly with a king's repose. I am a king that find thee, and I know 'tis not the balm, the scepter and the ball, the sword, the mace, the crown imperial, the intertissued robe of gold and pearl, the farced title running for the king, the throne she sits on, nor the tide of pomp that beats upon the high shore of this world. No, not all these thrice gorgeous ceremony. Not all these laid in bed majestical can sleep so soundly as the wretched knave. And but for ceremony, such a wretch, winding up days with toil and nights with sleep, had the forehand advantage of a king. The knave, a member of the country's peace, enjoys it, but in gross brain little wots what watch the king keeps to maintain the peace, whose hours the peasant best advantages.
My lord, your nobles, jealous of your absence, seek through your camp to find you.
Oh, good old knight. Collect them all together at my tent. Here, I'll be before thee.
Oh, thank you. I shall do it, my lord.
Where are the French? French are late like usual. Leon, Dolphin, Costello.
The sun does gild our armor up, my lords.
Our steeds for present service, nay.
Make incision in their hides, that their hot blood may spin in English eyes.
Dauphin, Dolphin. I could could have sworn I heard your dad tell you to stay home and not go to the war.
Okay, so let me propose a question for you, prompter. Does anything matter? No, the answer is no. So I decided to do what I wanted because I am, the king of my own life. So
That's a very French attitude. All right. Go ahead and mount them.
Laissez les bon temps, they say. Mount them and make incision in their hides, that their hot blood may spin in English eyes, and douse them with superfluous courage. Ha!
Ha! What? Will you have them weep our horses' blood? How shall we then behold their natural tears?
No, to horse, you gallant princess, straight to horse. Do but behold yon poor and starved band, and show your fair show shall suck away their souls, leaving them but the shares in the husks of men. There is not enough work for all our hands, scarce blood enough in all their sickly veins to give each naked curtleax a stain, that our French gallants shall today draw out, and then sheath for lack of sport. Let us but blow on them, and the vapor of our valor will overturn them. Very little let us do, and all is done. Then let the trumpets sound, for our approach shall so much dares afield, that England shall couch down in fear and yield.
Oh, why do you stay so long, my lords of France? Yon island carrions, desperate for their bones, ill-favoredly becomes the morning field.
Oh, they have said their prayers, and they stay for death.
Shall we go send them dinners and fresh suits and give their fasting horses provender and have to fight with them?
To the field I will the banner from a trumpet take and use it for my haste. Come away, the sun is high, and we outwear the day.
Of fighting men they have full 70,000.
There's 5 to 1. Besides, they are all fresh.
'Tis fearful odds.
Oh, that we now had here but 1/10,000 of those men in England that do no work today.
Huh. What's he that wishes so? My cousin, Westmoreland. No, my fair cousin, if we are marked to die, we are enough to do our country loss, and if to live, the fewer souls, the greater share of honor. God's will, I pray thee, wish not one man more. By Jove, I am not covetous for gold, nor care I who to feed upon my cost. It yearns me not if they my garments wear. Such outward things dwell not in my desires. But if it be a sin to covet honor, I am the most offending soul alive. No, faith, my coz, wish not a soul from England. God's peace, I would not lose so great an honor as one man more, methinks, would share from me. For the best hope I have. Oh, do not wish one more. Rather, proclaim it, Westmoreland, through my host, that they which hath no stomach to this fight, let them depart. Their passport shall be made, and crowns for convoy put into their purse. We would not die in that one's company that fears their fellowship to die with us. This day is called the Feast of Crispian. He that outlives this day and comes safe home will stand a tiptoe when this day is named, and rouse them at the name of Crispian. They that shall see this day and live old age will yearly on the vigil feast their neighbors and say, tomorrow is Saint Crispian. Then will they strip their sleeve and shew their scars. Old men forget, yet all shall be forgot, but they'll remember with advantages what feats they did that day. Then shall our names, familiar in their mouths as household words. Harry the King, Bedford and Exeter, Warwick and Talbot, Salisbury and Prince John, be in their flowing cups, freshly remembered. This story shall the good man teach their child, and Crispian shall ne'er go by from this day to the ending of the world. But we in it shall be remembered. We few, we happy few, we band of brothers, for he that today sheds his blood with me shall be my brother. Be he ne'er so vile, this day shall gentle his condition. And gentlemen in England, now abed, shall think themselves accursed they were not here, and hold their manhoods cheap, whiles any speaks that fought with us upon Saint Crispian's day.
My sovereign lord, bestow yourself with speed. The French are bravely in their battle set, and will with all expedients charge on us.
All things are ready, if our minds be so.
Perish the man whose mind is backwards now.
Thou dost not wish more help from England, cuz?
God's will, my liege. Would you and I alone without more help could fight this royal battle.
Why, now thou hast unwished 5,000 men, which likes me better than to wish us one. You know your places. God be with you all.
Once more I come for thee, King Harry. If for thy ransom thou wilt not compound before thou most assured overthrow, for certain thou art no near the gulf, thou needs must be inglotted. Besides, in mercy the constable desires thee. Thou wilt mind the followers of reputants, that their souls may make a peaceful and sweet retire from off these fields, where wretches their poor bodies must lie and fester.
Who hath sent thee now?
The constable of France.
I pray thee, bear my former answer back. Bid them achieve me, and then sell my bones. Good God! Why should they mock poor fellows thus? The man that once did sell the lion's skin while the beast lived was killed with hunting him. How many of our bodies shall no doubt find native graves, upon the which I trust shall witness live in brass of this day's work, and those that leave their valiant bones in France, dying like men, though buried in your dunghills, they shall be famed, for there the sun shall greet them and draw their honors, raking up to heaven, leaving their earthly parts to choke your clime, the smell whereof shall breed a plague in France. Let me speak proudly. Tell the constable, we are but warriors for the working day. Our gayness and our guilt are all besmirched with rainy marching in the painful field, and time hath worn us into slovenry. But by the mass, our hearts are in the trim. Herald, save thou thy labor. Come no more for ransom, gentle herald. They shall have none, I swear, but these my joints, which if they have, as I will leave them, shall yield them little. Tell the constable.
I shall, King Harry, and so fare thee well. Thou shalt never hear Harold any more.
I fear thou wilt once more come again for ransom. Ugh. Now, soldiers, march away, and how thou pleasest God, dispose the day.
Ah!
Yield, cur.
Je pense qu'il essaie de gentilhomme de bonne qualité.
Qualite, commis, costume, I don't know French. Art thou a gentleman? What is thy name? Discuss.
Oh, Seigneur Dieu.
Oh, Signor Do should be a gentleman. Prepare my words. Oh, Signor Do. Oh, Signor Do, thou diest, except, oh, Signor, thou dost give to me egregious ransom.
Prends miséricorde et ayez pitié de moi.
The moi shall not serve. I shall have 40 mois, for I will fetch thy rim out of thy throat in drops of crimson blood.
Est-il impossible d'échapper le force de ton bras?
Blah, cur, thou damned and luxurious mountain goat, offers me blah.
Oh, pardon-moi.
Sayest thou me so? Is that a ton of moi? Come hither, boy. Ask me, this slave, in French, what is his name?
Escoute, comment estes vos appelé?
Monsieur Le Fer.
He says his name is Master Fur.
Master Fur? I'll fur him and furk him and ferret him, discuss the same into French under him.
Do not know the French for fur and ferret and furk.
Bid him prepare, for I will cut his throat. Duh.
Que dit-il, monsieur?
Il me commande et vos dire que vos faites vos per este, car ce soldat esse estes dispose tot auster de copes vostre gorge.
Away, couple gorge, permafay peasant, unless thou give me crowns, brave crowns, or mangled shall that be by this my dagger. Or sword, because that's the actual line that I'm supposed to say.
Garde ma vie, et je vous donnerai 200 écus.
What is it? What are his words?
He prays you to save his life, and for his ransom, he will give you 200 crowns.
Oh, tell him my fury shall abate, like the crowns will take.
Oh, petit monsieur, que dit-il?
En gros, qu'elle est contre son lorement de pardonner aucun prisonnier, ne montrons pas les esquisses que vos lat et promet. Il est content et vos donnes les libertés, les franchissements.
Oh, sur mes genoux, je vous donne 1000 remercie. Et le don le monde dont chevalier, je pense, le plus brave, valiant et très distinct seigneur d'Angleterre.
Expound on me, boy.
He gives you upon his knees 1,000 thanks, and he esteems himself happy that he hath fallen into the hands of one, as he thinks, the most brave, valorous, and thrice worthy Seigneur of England.
I saw it suck blood. I will some mercy show. Follow me.
Savez-vous le grand capitaine? I did never know so full a voice issue from so empty a heart, but the saying is true. The empty vessel makes the greatest sound. Bardolph and Nym had 10 times more valor than this roaring devil, and they are both hanged. This be if he durst steal anything adventurously. I must stay with the lackeys with the luggage of our camp. The French might have good prey of us, if he knew of it, for there is none to guard it but boys.
Well have we done, thrice valiant countrymen, but all's not done, yet keep the French the field.
The Duke of York commends him to your majesty.
Lives he, good uncle? Thrice within this hour I saw him down, thrice up again, and fighting from helmet to the spur. All blood he was.
In which array, brave soldier, doth he lie, larding the plain, and by his bloody side, yoke-fellow to his honor-owing wounds, the noble Earl of Suffolk also lies. Suffolk first died, and York, all haggled over, comes to him, where in gore he lay and steeped, takes him by the beard, kisses the gashes that bloodily did yawn upon his face. He cries aloud, "Tarry, my cousin Suffolk, my soul shall thine keep company to heaven. Tarry, sweet soul, for mine, then fly abreast, as in this glorious and well-foughten field we keep together in our chivalry." Upon these words I came and cheered him up. He smiled me in the face, wrought me his hand, and with a feeble grip says, "Dear my lord, commend my service to my sovereign." And so did he turn, and over Suffolk's neck threw his wounded arm and kissed his lips. And so, espoused to death with blood, he sealed a testament of noble ending love.
But hark, what new alarm is this thing? The French have reinforced their scattered men. Then every soldier kill his prisoners. Give the word through.
Hey!
Kill the poison, the luggage. 'Tis expressly against the law of arms. 'Tis as errant a piece of knavery, mark ye now, as can be offered in your conscience now, is it not?
'Tis certain there's not a boy left alive, and the cowardly rascals that ran from the battle had done this slaughter. Besides, they have burned and carried away all that was in the king's tent. Wherefore the king most worthily hath caused every soldier to cut his prisoner's throat. Oh, 'tis a gallant king.
Aye, he was born at Monmouth, Captain Gar. What's that? What calls you the town's name where Alexander the Pig was born?
Alexander the Great.
Why, I pray you, it's not big, great. The pig, or the great, or the mighty, or the huge, or the magnanimous are all one reckoning, save a little variations.
I think Alexander the Great was born in Macedon. His father was called Philip of Macedon, as I take it.
I think it is in Macedon where Alexander is born. I tell you, Captain, if you look at the maps of the world, I warrant you shall find in comparisons between Macedon and Monmouth in that situations, look ya, are both alike. There is a river at Macedon, and there's also, moreover, a river at Monmouth, and there is salmons in both. If you mark Alexander's life well, Harry of Monmouth's life is come after it. It ain't different. Well, for there's figures in all things. Alexander, God knows, and you know, in all of his rages and his furies and his wraths, and also being a little intoxicates, and his brains did in his ales and his angers, look ya, kill his best friend Clytus.
Our king is not like him in that he never killed any of his friends.
It is not well done, mark you now, to take the tales out of my mouth ere it is finished. I speak but in the figures and the comparisons of it, as Alexander killed his friend Clytus, being in his ales and his cups, and also Harry Monmouth and his right wits and his good judgments turned away the fat knight with the great belly doublet. He was full of jests and jipes and knaveries and mocks, and I have forgot his name.
Sir John Falstaff.
That is he. I'll tell you, there's good men born at Monmouth.
Here comes his majesty.
I was not angry since I came to France until this instant. If they will fight with us, bid them come down or void the field. They do offend our sight. If they'll do neither, we will come to them and make them scare away as swift as stones. Besides, we'll cut the throats of those we have, and not a man of them that we shall take shall taste our mercy.
Here comes the herald of the French, my liege.
His eyes are humbler than they used to be.
How now? What means this herald?
How now? What means this herald? Knowest thou not that I have fined these bones of mine for ransom? Comest thou again for ransom?
No, great king, I come to thee for charitable lessons, that we may wander o'er the bloody fields to book our dead and then to bury them, to sort our nobles from our common men. For many of our princes lie down and soaked in mercenary blood, so do our vulgar drench their peasants' limbs in blood of princes. Give us leave, great king, to view the safety in their to view the field in safety and dispose of their dead bodies.
I tell thee truly, herald, I know not if the day be ours or no, for yet a many of your horsemen peer and gallop o'er the field.
The day is yours.
Huh. What is this castle that stands hard by?
The Coy Agincourt.
Then call we this the field of Agincourt, fought on the day of Crispianus.
Your grandfather of famous memory, and please your grace, and your great uncle Edward, the Black Prince of Wales, as I have read in the chronicles, fought a most brave battle here in France.
They did, Llewellyn.
Your Majesty says very true. If your Majesty is remembered of it, the Welshmen did a good service in a garden where leeks did grow, wearing leeks in their Monmouth caps, which your Majesty knows now to this hour is an honourable badge of the service. And I do believe your Majesty takes no scorn to wear the leek upon St. Davy's Day.
I wear it for a memorable honour, for I am Welsh, you know, good countryman.
All the water in Wye cannot wash your Majesty's Welsh blood out of your body, I can tell you that. God bless it and preserve it as long as it pleases her grace and his Majesty too.
Thanks, my good countryman.
By Jeshua, I am your Majesty's countryman. I care not who knows it. I will confess it to all the world. I need not be ashamed of your Majesty. Praise be to God, so long as your Majesty is an honest soul.
Good keep me so. Good uncle. Good uncle. Go along with her. Bring me just notice of the numbers dead on both our parts. Call yonder fellow hither.
Soldier!
Soldier, you must come to the king.
Sure. Right. Yeah.
Soldier, why wearest
Soldier, why wearest thou that glove in thy cap?
Oh, and please your Majesty, 'tis the gage of one that I should fight withal, if it be alive.
An Englishman?
I please your Majesty, rascal that swaggered with me last night, who, if alive and ever dare to challenge this glove, I have sworn to take him a butt to the ear. Or if I can see my glove and his cap, which he swore, as he was a soldier, he would wear if alive, I will strike it out soundly.
What think you, Captain Llewellyn? Is it fit this soldier keep his oath?
He's a craven and a villain else, and please your Majesty in my conscience.
It may be his enemy is a gentle one of great sort, quite from the answer of his degree.
Though he be as good a gentleman as the devil is, it is necessary, look your grace, that he keep his vow and his oath.
Then, keep thy vow, Sirrah, when thou meetst the fellow.
So I will, my liege, as I live.
Who servest thou under?
Oh, under Captain Gower, my liege.
Cap Gower is a good captain and is good knowledge and literature in the wars.
Call her hither to me, soldier.
Oh, I will, my liege.
Here, Llewellyn, wear thou this favor for me, and stick it in thy cap. Ooh. When Alanson and myself were down together, I plucked this glove from his helm. If anyone challenge this, they are a friend to Alanson and an enemy to our person. If thou encounter any such, apprehend them. And now dost to me love.
Your grace does me's great honours as can be desired in the hearts of her subjects. I would fain see the man that has but 2 legs that to find himself aggrieved at this glove, that is all. But I would fain see it once, and please God of his grace that I might see.
Knowest thou Gower?
She is my dear friend, and to please you.
Pray thee go seek her and bring her to my tent.
I will fetch her.
My brother John, follow Llewellyn closely and closely at the heels. The glove which I have given her for a favor may haply purchase her a box of the ear. It is the soldier's. I, by bargain, should wear it myself. Follow, good cousin Warwick, that if the soldiers strike her, as I judge by her blunt bearing, she will keep her word. Some sudden mischief may arise of it, for I do know Llewellyn valiant, and touched with choler, hot as gunpowder, and quickly will return an injury. Follow and see there be no harm between them.
I warrant it is to knight you, Captain.
God's will and his pleasure, Captain. I beseech you now, come apace to the king. There is more good towards you peradventure than is in your knowledge to dream of.
Sir, ma'am, know you this glove of mine?
No, the glove. I know the glove is a glove.
I know this, and thus I challenge it!
Blood, an errant traitor as is any in the universal world, or in France, or in England.
How now, sir, you villain!
Or do you think I'll be forsworn?
Stand away, Captain Gower. I will give to reason his payment into blows, I warrant you.
Oh, I'm no traitor.
That's a lie in thy throat. I charge you in her majesty's name, apprehend him. He is a friend of the Duke Alanson.
No, my liege. This was my glove. Here's the fellow.
How now? Prince John, y'all are rolling right over the prince here. How now?
Sorry about that, Highness, yeah.
How now? How now? What's the matter?
My most gracious Prince John, here is, praised be God, for it a most contagious treason come to light. Look you, as you shall desire in a summer's day. Here is her majesty.
Oh, gee.
How now? What's the matter?
My liege, here is a villain and a traitor that, look, your grace has struck the glove which your majesty has ta'en out of the helmet of Alanson.
No, my liege, this was my glove. See, here is the fellow of it, and he that I gave it in charge, well, they promised to wear it in his cap, a promise to strike him if he did, and I met this person with my glove in her cap, and I have been as good as my word.
Give me thy glove, soldier.
Here.
Look, here's the fellow of it. 'Twas I, indeed, thou promisedst to strike. Thou hast given me most bitter terms.
And please your majesty, let his neck answer for it if there's any martial law in the world.
How canst thou make me satisfaction?
My liege, no, all of offenses, my lord, come from the heart. Never came any from mine that might offend your majesty.
It was ourself thou didst abuse.
Your majesty came not like yourself. I mean, you appeared to me but as a common man. Witness the night, your garments, your lowliness, and you know what your highness suffered under that shape. I beseech you, take it for your own fault, not mine. For had you been as I took you, I'd have made no offense. Therefore, I beseech your majesty to pardon me.
Here, my brother John, fill this glove with crowns and give it to the fellow. Keep it, fellow, and wear it for an honor in thy cap till I do challenge it. Give him the crowns, and captain, you must needs be friends with him.
By this day and this life, the fellow has metal enough in his belly hold. There's 12 pence for you, and I pray you to serve God and keep you out of brawls and problems and quarrels and dissensions, and I warrant you, 'tis the better for you.
I will none of your money.
Oh, it is with good will. I can tell you, it will serve you to mend your shoes. Come, why should you be so bashful? Your shoes is not so good.
What prisoners of good sort are taken, uncle?
Charles, Duke of Orleans, nephew to the king, John, Duke of Bourbon, and the Lord Boucicault, of other lords and barons, knights and squires, full 1,500, besides common men.
This note doth tell me of 10,000 French that in the field lie slain. Of princes in this number, and nobles bearing banners, there lie dead 126. Added to these, of knights, esquires, and gallant gentlemen, 8,400, of the which 500 were but yesterday dubbed knights. The names of those their nobles that lie dead: Charles, still a breath, High Constable of France, the Master of the Crossbows, Lord Rambures, John, Duke of Alençon, Anthony, Duke of Brabant, the brother to the Duke of Burgundy. Here was a royal fellowship of death. Where is the number of our English dead? Edward, the Duke of York, the Earl of Suffolk, none else of name, and of all other souls, but 25 was ever known so great and little loss.
'Tis wonderful.
Come, go we in procession to the village. Do we all holy rites, the dead with charity enclosed in clay, and then to Calais and to England then, where ne'er from France arrived more happy men.
Vouchsafe to those that have not read the story. Vouchsafe to those that have not read the story, that I may prompt them. And of such as have, I humbly pray them to admit the excuse of time, of numbers, and due course of things which cannot in their huge and proper life be here presented. Now we bear the king toward Calais. Grant her there seen, heave her away upon your winged thoughts, athwart the sea. Behold, the English beach pales in the flood with men, wives, and boys whose shouts and claps outvoice the deep-mouthed sea, which, like a mighty whiffler for the king, seems to prepare her way. So let her land, and solemnly see her set on to London. As yet the lamentation of the French invites the King of England's stay at home, the emperors coming in behalf of France to order peace between them, and omit all the occurrences, whatever chanced, till Harry's back return again to France. There must we bring her, and myself have played the interim by remembering you 'tis past. Then brook abridgment, and your eyes advance, after your thoughts, straight back again to France.
Nay, that's right. But why wear you your lake today? St. Davy's Day is past.
There's occasions and causes why and wherefore in all things. I will tell you as my friend, Captain Gower, the rascally scold, beggarly, lousy, pragging knave pistol, which you and yourself and all the world know to be no better than a fellow. Look you now, of no merit, he is come to me and brings me bread and salt yesterday, look ya, and bid me eat my leek. It was in a place where I could not breathe no contention with him, but I will be so bold as to wear it in my cap till I see him once again, and then I will tell him a little piece of my desires.
Why, here he comes, swelling like a turkey cock.
'Tis no matter for his swellings nor his turkey cocks. God bless ya, ancient pistol, you scurvy lousy knave. God bless ya.
Art thou bedlam? Dost thou thirst? Base Trojan, hence. I am qualmish at the smell of leek.
I beseech you heartily, scurvy lousy knave, at my desires and my requests and my petitions to eat, look ya, this leek, because, look ya, you do not love it, nor your affections and your appetites and your digestions does not agree with it, I would desire ya to eat it.
What? Ow! Not for Codwaddle there down all these goats.
Oh, there's
Ow.
one goat for ya. Ah!
Ow!
Will you be so good, scold knave, as eat it?
Base Trojan, thou shalt die!
You say they're true, scold knave, when God's will is. I will desire you to live in the meantime and eat your victuals. Come, there is sauce for it.
No.
You called me yesterday mountain squire, but today I will make you a squire of low degree. I pray you fall to. If you can mock a leek, you can eat a leek.
Enough, Captain. Oh, you have astonished him.
I say I will make him eat some part of my leek,
No.
or I will paint his pate 4 days.
Ow.
It is good for your green wound and your bloody coxcomb.
By this leek, I will most horribly revenge. I eat and eat, I swear.
Eat, I pray ya. Will you have some more sauce for your leek? There's not enough leek to swear by.
Quiet, I cudgel, thou dost see I eat.
Much good do you, scald knave, heartily. Nay, pray you throw none away. The skin is good for your broken coxcomb. When you take occasions to see leeks hereafter, I pray you mock at 'em. That is all.
Oh, good.
Aye, leeks is good. Hold your... There's a groat to heal your pate.
Me a groat?
Yes, verily, and in truth you shall take it, or I have another leek in my pocket, which you shall eat.
I'll take thy groat in earnest of revenge.
If I owe ya anything, I will pay ya in cudgels. You shall be a woodmonger and buy nothing of me but cudgels. God buy ya, and keep ya, and heal your pate.
All hell shall stir for this.
Oh, go, go. You are a counterfeit, cowardly knave. Will you mock at an ancient tradition began upon an honorable respect and worn as a memorable trophy of predeceased valor, and dare not avouch in your deeds any of your words? You thought because she could not speak English in the native garb, she could not therefore handle an English cudgel? Oh, you find it otherwise, and henceforth let a Welsh correction teach you a good English condition. Fare you well.
The fortune play the housewife with me now. News have I, and my doll is dead, in the spite of a malady of France, and there my rendezvous is quite cut off. Ugh. Old I do wax, and from my weary limbs honour is cudgelled. Well, Board I'll turn, and something lean to cut purse of quick hand. To England will I steal, and there I'll steal, and patches will I get unto these cudgelled scars, and swore I got them in the Gallia Wars.
Peace to this meeting, wherefore we are met. Unto our brother France, and to our sister, health and fair time of day, joy and good wishes to our most fair and princely cousin, Catherine. And as a branch and member of this royalty by whom this great assembly is contrived, we do salute you, Duke of Orleans, and princes French and peers. Health to you all.
Right joyous are we to behold your face, most worthy sister England, fairly met. So are you, princes, English, everyone.
So happy be the issue queen, French queen, Queen of France.
So happy be the issue, Sister Ireland, of this good day and of this gracious meeting, as we are now glad to behold your eyes which hitherto have borne in them against the French that met them in their hut and their bent, the fatal balls of murdering basilists, the venom of such looks we fairly hope have lost their quality, and that this day shall change all griefs and quarrels into love.
To cry amen to that, thus we appear.
You, English princes all, I do salute you.
My duty to you both on equal love, great kings of France and England, that I have labored with all my wits, my pains and strong endeavors, to bring your most imperial majesties unto this bar and royal interview, your mightiness on both parts best can witness. Since then my office hath so far prevailed, that face to face and royal eye to eye you have congregated. Let it not disgrace me if I demand before this royal view what rub or what impediment there is, why that the naked, poor, and mangled peace should not in this best garden of the world, our fertile France, put up her lovely visage.
If, Duke of Orleans, you would the peace, whose want gives growth to the imperfections which you have cited, you must buy that peace with full accord to all our just demands, whose tenures and particular effects you have enscheduled briefly in your hands.
The king has heard them, to the which as yet there is no answer made.
Well, then, the peace which you before so urged lies in his answer.
I have but a cursory eye or glance the articles. Please it your grace to appoint some of your council presently to sit with us once more, with better heed to re-survey them. We will certainly pass our accept and peremptory answer.
Brother, we shall. Go, Uncle Exeter and Brother Prince John. Go you with the king, and take with you free power to ratify, augment, or alter, as your wisdoms best shall see advantageable for our dignity, anything in or out of our demands, and we'll consign thereto. Will you, fair sister, go with the princes or stay here with us?
Our gracious sister, we will go with them. Happily, a woman's voice may do some good when articles too nicely urged be stood on.
Yet, leave our cousin Catherine here with us. She is our capital demand, comprised within the forerank of our articles.
She has good leave.
Yeah.
Fair Catherine, and most fair, will you vouchsafe to teach a soldier terms such as will enter at a lady's ear and please their love suit to her gentle heart?
Your Majesty shall mock at me. I cannot speak your England.
Oh, fair Catherine, if you will love me soundly with your French heart, I will be glad to hear you confess it brokenly with your English tongue. Do you like me, Kate?
Pardonnez-moi, I cannot tell what is like me.
An angel is like you, Kate. And you are like an angel.
Qui dit-elle? Que je suis semble de les anges?
Oui, vraiment sauf votre grâce, ainsi dit-il.
I said so, dear Catherine, and I must not blush to affirm it.
Oh, bon Dieu, les langues des femmes sont pleines de trompières.
What says she, fair one? That the tongues of men are full of deceits?
Oui, that the tongues of the man's be full of deceits. That is the princess.
The princess is the better English woman. Faith, Kate, my wooing is fit for thy understanding. I am glad thou canst speak no better English, for if thou couldst, thou wouldst find me such a plain king that thou wouldst think I had sold my farm to buy my crown. I know no ways to mince it in love, but directly to say, I love you. Then if you urge me further, then to say, do you, with faith? I wear out my suit. Give me your answer. If they do. And so clap hands and a bargain. How say you?
The hands. The hands? So votre honneur, me understand well.
Mary, if you would put me to verses or to dance for your sake, Kate, why, you undid me. For the one, I have neither words nor measure, and for the other, I have no strength in measure, yet a reasonable measure in strength. If I could win a lady at a leapfrog, or by vaulting into my saddle with my armor on my back, under the correction of bragging be it spoken, I should quickly leap into a wife. But I cannot look greenly, nor gasp out my eloquence, nor I have no cunning in protestation, only downright oaths, which I never use till urged, nor never break for urging. If thou canst love a fellow of this temper, Kate, that never looks in her glass for love of anything she sees there, I speak to thee, plain soldier. If thou canst love me for this, take me. If not, to say to thee that I shall die is true, but for thy love, by the Lord, no. Yet I love thee too. And while thou livest, dear Kate, take a fellow of plain and uncoined constancy, for she perforce must do thee right, because she hath not the gift to woo in other places. For these fellows of infinite tongue that can rhyme themselves into ladies' favors, they do always reason themselves how to ken. What? A good leg will fall. A straight back will stoop. A black beard will turn white. A curled pate will grow bald. A fair face will wither. But a good heart, Kate, is the sun and the moon. Or rather, the sun and not the moon, for it shines bright and never changes, but keeps their course truly. If thou should have such a one, take me, and take me, take a soldier. Take a soldier, take a king. And what sayest thou then to my love? Speak, my fair, and fairly, I pray thee.
Is it possible that I should love the enemy of France?
No! It is not possible you should love the enemy of France, Kate. But in loving me, you should love the friend of France. For I love France so well that I will not part with a village of it. I will have it all mine. And Kate, when France is mine, and I am yours, then yours is France, and you are mine.
I cannot tell what is that.
No, Kate? I will tell thee in French, which I am sure will hang upon my tongue like a new married wife about her husband's neck, hardly to be shook off. Le compte les possessions de France, et quand vous avez la possession de moi. Oh, let me see what then. St. Dennis be my speed. Dans votre France, et vous, vous êtes des miens. It is as easy for me, Kate, to conquer the kingdom as to speak so much more French. I shall never move thee in French unless it be to laugh at me.
Sur votre honneur, le François que vous parlez est meilleur que l'anglais que je le parle.
No, faith, it's not, Kate. But thy speaking of my tongue and I thine, most truly falsely, must needs be granted to be much at one. But Kate, dost thou understand thus much English? Canst thou love me?
I cannot tell.
Can any of your neighbors tell, Kate? I'll ask them. Come, I know thou lovest me, and at night when you come into your closet, you'll question this gentle woman about me, and I know, Kate, you will to her dispraise those parts in me that you love with your heart. But, good Kate, mock me mercifully, the rather gentle princess, because I love thee cruelly. What sayest thou, my fair flower de luce?
I do not know that.
No, 'tis hereafter to know. But now, to promise. Do but now promise, Kate, you will endeavor for your French part and for my English moiety, take the word of a king and a bachelor. How answer you, le plus belle Catherine du monde, mon très cher devine des.
Your Majesty are full French enough to deceive the most sage damoiselle that is in France.
Now fie upon my false French. Find mine honor in true English. I love thee, Kate, by which honor I dare not swear thou lovest me. Yet my blood begins to flatter me that thou dost, notwithstanding the poor and untempering effect of my visage. Now beshrew my father's ambition. He was thinking of civil wars when he got me. Therefore was I created with a stubborn outside, with an aspect of iron, that when I come to woo ladies, I fright them. But in faith, Kate, the elder I wax, the better I shall appear. And therefore tell me, most fair Catherine, will you have me? Take me by the hand and say, Harry of England, I am thine. Which word thou shalt no longer sooner bless mine ear withal, but I will tell thee aloud, England is thine. Ireland is thine. France is thine. And Henry Plantagenet is thine. Therefore, Queen of all, Catherine, break thy mind to me in broken English. Wilt thou have me?
That is as it shall please the roi, mon père.
Nay, it will please him well, Kate. It shall please him, Kate.
Then it shall also content me.
Upon that, I kiss your hand, and I call you my queen.
Laissez, madame, laissez-moi fouille, je ne veux pas prendre la basse. Votre rendu, c'est posant la main de notre Seigneur indignité, serviteur, excusez-moi.
Then I will kiss your lips, Kate.
Les dames pour être poisson devant le épouse et n'est pas de costume de France.
Madam, my interpreter, what says she?
That it is not be the fashion for the ladies of France.
Oui.
I cannot tell what is a buis and
to kiss.
Oui. Your Majesty entendre better que moi.
Oh, Kate. Nice customs. Courtesy to great kings. We are the makers of manners, Kate. Here comes your father.
Oh, God save your majesty, my royal cousin. I teach you our princess.
I would have her learn, my fair cousin, how perfectly I love her. And that is good English.
Is she not apt?
Our tongue is rough, cuz my condition is not smooth.
Maids, well summered and warm kept, are blind, though they have their eyes.
And so shall I catch the fly, your cousin, in the latter end. She must be blind too.
As love is, my lord, before it loves.
It is so, and you may, some of you, thank love for my blindness, who cannot see many a fair French city for one fair French maid that stands in my way.
Yes, my lord, you see them perspectively. The city's turned into a maid, for they are all girdled with maiden walls, that war hath entered.
Shall Kate be my wife?
So please you.
I am content. So the maiden cities you talk of may wait on her. So the maid that stood in the way for my wish shall shew me the way to my will.
We have consented to all terms of reason.
Is so, my lords of England?
The king hath granted every article, his daughter first, and in sequel all according to their firm proposed natures.
Take her, fair child, and from her blood raise up issue to me, that the contending kingdoms of France and England, whose very shores look pale with envy of each other's happiness, may cede their hatred, that never war advance is bleeding sword twixt England and fair France.
Now welcome, Kate, and bear me witness all that here I kissed her as my sovereign queen.
Oh, as wife being two are one in love, so be there twixt your kingdoms such a spousal that never may ill office or fell jealousy, which troubles off the bed of blessed marriage, thrust in between the passion of these kingdoms to make divorce of their incorporate league.
Prepare we for our marriage, on which day my lord of Orleans will take your oath, and all the peers for surety of our leagues. Then shall I swear to Kate, and you to me, and may our oaths well kept and prosperous be.
Thus far, with rough and unable pen, our bending author hath pursued the story. In little room confining mighty men and women, mangling by starts the full course of their glory. Small time, but in that small most greatly lived this star of England. Fortune made her sword, by which the world's vast garden she achieved, and of it left her son, imperial lord, Henry VI, in infant bands crowned king of France and England. Did this king succeed, whose state so many had the managing that they lost France and made his England bleed, which soon our stage will show. And for their sake, in your fair minds, let this acceptance take. Finis, the life of Henry V.
Thank you so much, everyone, for coming with us on this marvelous journey of the Henrys. We really appreciate everything. We loved the comments and hope that you had a good time watching us do it a little differently than the way Ops does, but still with all the fun and figuring out of what to do with the technical difficulties that we all have. Please, if your hearts will allow, put some ducats in those buckets to help our fabulous company move forward, pay rent, and buy groceries. We love you all so much, and we look forward to seeing you live and in person on June 21st, a Monday night, for finally Midsummer, where you get to cast the show. Look on our website, opsfest.org, and we will see you in the